expect, much like any other requirements that, again, promulgated by the planning commission, but that business would have to bring their engineering study, right? Just as they would show a front elevation, a side elevation, building design, materials, all those, again, normal things that would go through planning commission, that they would have to show the requisite distances to make it so that they're conforming with our ordinance.
Thank you, I didn't know if I had to go out and buy a wheel or, you know, we mark graves in the cemeteries with a poker, so I didn't know if that was going to be another addition. The measure now too.
Through the chair, we don't have to buy one, I have one in the truck.
Thanks, Charlie.
You just got to take that stick and just keep on laying it out one time after the other.
So I will work on those rules through the chair and then have them at the next meeting, and we can, you know, if this should pass, then we'll be prepared.
Is there any further discussion from the council or elected officials? Is there any discussion from the audience? Please come forward.
May I present a sheet of paper that explains what I'm about to say to you as chairman?
You can hand it to Ramick, pass it around.
My name is Philip Nisley, 14,000 Racco. And I want to address a valuable addition to Chapter 11, Marijuana Commercial Businesses, Article 3, Specific Marijuana Business Requirements 11-9, and paragraph F on the new page 18. It was 17 before, tonight it's 18. While I appreciate the warning that is here in the Taylor Chapter 11 ordinance, page 18, to be displayed in businesses for pregnant women and those planning to become pregnant, I wish this council would add to the ordinance a required THC content chart like the fast food calorie chart at restaurants. Dr. Kevin Sabat admits that the 1970s Woodstock weed contained roughly 1 to 3% THC, but warned communities that many retailers seeking licenses today promote products containing up to 95 to 99% THC. The ordinance warning sign could say, as you see the sheet in front of you, here is our list of products with THC content comparison. The risk of psychosis triples when using products with 15% THC potency or higher, and daily users are 5 times more likely to develop severe mental illness. Thus, any products bought here must be kept out of the reach of children, not used when driving, and no products should be bought or dispensed to anyone under age 21, unquote. Taylor's future is our youth and children, and we must make it a priority to protect them and our neighborhoods. If restaurants can help us count calories, businesses should be able to help us count THC intake. Let us hold the standard of keeping drugs out of children's reach and far enough away from protected areas where they learn and play. People wanting marijuana medically can already get it in the city or by mail. People wanting commercial marijuana can go to a short distance north, south, east, or west and find businesses elsewhere. Let us set the standard in Taylor, as this council is concerned about the safety of its citizens, youth, and children, by posting such warnings in every business so that people can become aware of its concerns in their lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir? Sorry. We're going to line, I guess we're picking the different side of line up.
I was just going to make a comment in reference to the clerk's comment about the planning looking at the distances first, because I guess that would have to be done weeks before even turning in your application. Typically, like Riverview, we're going through the process right now. We turned in our package. The first was to make sure you're qualified, pre-qualified, you're in good standing, and everything you said about taxes. Then we have to go to site plan for a site plan special use approval and site plan approval. At that time, I think they would look at the distances to see if they would work. I don't know if it's fair almost. They say you gotta go to planning first, make sure you're gonna work before you submit. If it doesn't work, then planning would say you're not qualified. Just something to consider, before you finalize it. I thought, maybe it's a little backwards in my head. Maybe I'm wrong. To the gentleman's point over here, all the product that is sold is labeled with THC, the terpene values, the yeast and mold test, and so if there's warning signs all over everything, you can't be, if you're not 21, you can't even come into the place. If you're 20, you want to have a child, the child cannot come into your store. So there's a lot of safety features. In reference to the fire marshal, the state has to inspect it, so you don't have to worry about the local can come through too. And they come in once or twice a year too to make sure that, you don't have deadbolts on the doors and you got your fire extinguishers are up to date and everything. So it is highly regulated with the police, but it's through the state mostly. But we always welcome the city because we want to work with champion. If we're going to get selected, that'd be great. Anyway, that's all. Thank you very much again. Have a great night.
Thank you. Please come forward.
Mr. Chairman, as Angie's walking up, it is a requirement of your business license that you have fire inspection, so the fire department will be in that business.
And also within the ordinance, the inspections in this ordinance, by being granted a license, the city can randomly enter the business at any point in time.
Hello. Good evening, Council, Mr. Mayor. Angela Osborne. I live on Cornell Street in Taylor. I've lived in Taylor most of my 55 years. A couple years ago, I was in Dearborn, and I came back home. It's my home. I pay taxes here. I shop here. I raise my family here. I voted in every single election since I was 18 years old because I was excited to do so. And I've actually voted for most of you guys sitting up here. I believe in democracy, and I believe when I vote for people to represent me in Taylor, I expect that my voice will be heard and that my vote will be heard. On November 8th last year, I voted yes on a proposal for the city of Taylor to create an ordinance for recreational dispensaries. Nor on the ballot did I see that it stated that it was an advisory proposal or that if it passed, council would think about it. When citizens take a ballot proposal up and it passes with a large margin, the issue was no longer up for debate. A few of you even stated that if the people voted for it, you would pass it. It passed. We took you at your word, and we expect you to follow through. I've sat and I've watched meeting after meeting, and I do watch them at home. As a council chair, first put the readings on the ordinance on the agenda, and many times it's been kicked to zoning, it's been kicked back and forth, it's failed, can't even get the first reading. How can we get into crafting the details of any type of ordinance unless we get the first reading done? I also understand many of you have personal feelings regarding these establishments, but at this point, the opinion on dispensaries really does not matter. You were elected to listen to us, the voters, your bosses. 56% of us voted yes, and that is considered a landslide. Sorry. 44% lost the vote. I have a very simple solution for the 44%. Don't go to a dispensary. It's really easy. The rules don't change because they lost. I can't imagine the state of Michigan having a ballot proposal pass and the legislature say, you know what, too bad, we don't like it, we're not going to put it out there. It doesn't work that way. No one is asking for us to have a dispensary on every corner like liquor stores, nor are we asking for one on Telegraph. All we're asking for at this point is to pass the first reading with language from the ballot proposal and follow through on a commitment to abide by the will of the people. Please stop the missing.